I'm Alice, and I'm a screenwriter. I live in New York. I write for film and television, although it's fall 2023, so I'm currently on strike. So technically, I'm not writing anything. And and also I am currently a teacher. I teach at the Columbia University School of the Arts.
Well, that's a great place to teach. Congratulations on getting that position. And what was your path that got you into screenwriting?
My path, my path was that I never thought of myself as a writer. And when I was around 30, I was living in New York and I was an actor. And in order to, I thought it might be a good idea in order to get work, to create it for myself, to perform, which a lot of people were doing at the time. So I did. And what I discovered was that I really, really hated performing work that I had written, and that I actually preferred writing it. And so I sort of kept going, and the acting fell away, and I was writing plays. I was writing plays for a while, and that's sort of how I learned the craft. I never thought I would write a movie. I wasn't interested in writing a movie, and then one day I had an idea for a movie. And so I gave it a shot, and it went well. So I kept doing it because I realized that could be a good way to monetize this thing that I was really enjoying. So that's how it happened.
And did you teach yourself the format, or did you take workshops, or?
I never did any workshops. I did a lot of talking to people I knew who did it, asking them questions, and I watched a lot of movies. And I think I internalized a lot from things that I watched. And definitely, then I kind of did this with playwriting as well. I would watch, something that made a lot of sense to me and that resonated with me. And then I would sort of copy, it was absolutely my voice, but I would sort of copy it structurally. And that was how I began to understand the way structure works. But I wish I had studied it a little harder, because the process of my really learning how to do it might have moved more quickly.
Alice, could you talk about some of the projects that you worked on?
Sure. I wrote, two like original screenplays, and both of which found like producers and actors, but neither of which has been made yet, not yet. But from those scripts, I was able to get work, working. Either getting hired to write scripts, or getting hired to do rewrites of scripts. And I've done some really interesting projects so I did a really great project called Shoot Like a Girl, where I was working with the director, and it was an adaptation of this book by this incredible veteran of the Afghanistan war named MJ Hagar. She also ran for Congress and for the Senate in Texas within the past, I think, 5 years. So that was just it was so outside of the scope of my normal work, because it was basically a war movie. And she she flew search and rescue helicopters and has an incredible heroic story. So I did that, and then immediately after that, I did this fantastic sort of big studio romantic comedy, and worked with the director on that as well. And I'm not really sure what's happening with that either. In the meantime, I also worked on this TV show called Billions, which is still on Showtime. I wrote on that show for 3 seasons, and that taught me a lot. And was a great experience. And yeah, and I continue to write movies and develop TV series and for networks and studios and things, and that's what I do when I'm not on strike.
Well, I imagine the experience from, you know, writing on one level is a very solitary act, and just as painting is, you're kind of alone with a blank canvas, and all your experiences with television and writing things for the movies are so collaborative. We have to incorporate other people's ideas, especially if they're the boss. You can't just say, well, that's a stupid idea, and not at least try to do something with it. I imagine. So Peter,
Well,
go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that that I really enjoy collaboration, and that I think part of the process is knowing when, as the writer, to stand up for, you know, your idea, you know, your sense of what's right in a scene and what a scene needs to be, as opposed to, you know, a producer or a director. So, but that's the fun of collaboration too.